Hello, fellow traders. This is TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Friday, December the 2nd. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap-up, and it is NFP Day. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And remember, trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. So, what do we have here for the week? We've got a big green bar here for the week. We're 186 pips above the weekly open, 62 off the high, and 349 off the low. And if you look down here, we've only had one gap that didn't fill, and that is the dollar Canadian. Let's just zoom out to the monthly real quick. 191 above the high, 205 off the low, and 192 above, 191 now above the open, 64.65 off the high, and 204 off the low. And you can see here we broke the high of the previous month. And back to the week, as I mentioned, all gaps have filled. And you can see here we took out that weekly pivot. And right now we happen to be in the launch pad. As you can see here, we are way above the opening range for the week. And then yesterday we put in the opening range for the month, which is a pretty big range, you can see right there. And you can see we're flirting around that daily open, only about 2 pips above it. We're above the yearly midpoint now by 191 pips, above the low by 1887, below the yearly high by 1503, and below the yearly open by 1281. But looks like we're going to be solid above that yearly midpoint. So for you fib traders, you saw it put in that extreme, and it came back to the midpoint. For you inside bar traders, we had an inside bar 3 days ago. We broke out of that yesterday. We had a weekly inside bar 16 weeks ago. We broke out of it yesterday and today, but we're below it. That high of that inside bar at 122.76, call it 77. So if anybody took those breakouts, I hope you took your pips quickly. And you can see here's some inside bar action on the month and the week, not so much on the daily today. 164 pip range for the pound. We had the big mover is the dollar yen, 236 pips. And I think I might have mentioned it. I am so kicking myself. Back when the yen was at 151, 150, I was short. If I'd only left that short alone, I'd be looking at 1,500 pips right now. I mean, those are the types of trades that can make your year. But you just never know what's going to happen. So you have to trade in the moment. As you can see, we crossed that daily open at 42 in the launch pad. And so we can see here, if we're going to go up and hit that 50. I was making a video, so I actually punched out at 46. I'd gotten in at 40, thinking it would at least go to 50, but I just don't like to trade and do videos at the same time. My attention is split. My reactions aren't as good. Walmart can do it because he's a machine. Geez, he's just tearing the market a new one. But you can see what happened on NFP. In fact, Walmart and I both said, no, we're not going to trade NFP. And I was watching it, and they were shooting the price up right before the announcement. I go, they're going to slam this puppy. No sooner than I finished saying it, it was just a huge drop. In fact, we can even look at the 1 minute candle here. Wondering why doesn't want to give me the 1 minute candle data. There we go. And we'll just scrunch the chart a bit. But yeah, right there, it was boom. That kind of sounds like John Madden there. Let's see, what do we got here? We need, put this back to the 1 hour. But you could have taken the daily crossover. And actually, I was more looking on that particular trade at the time. Why is my machine freezing on me? I'm not sure what's going on. Let me pause the video. Okay, now it wants to act right again. I was thinking to actually pretty much trade the wick zone because the price was about somewhere around, where was it? I think it was about right here when that news opened. I think I need an M30 chart. Let's see, is the computer going to freeze on me again? No. Yeah, right here was the, so it already dropped below the, now this is weird. Wonder why it's not showing what I want it to show. Well, anyway. You could have had a really nice short had you taken that trade. And I was thinking I should have just put on a bet trade where it's like, okay, I'll go short. I'll put my stop loss maybe 20, 30 pips above the entry and see what happens. And if I guess right, I could win big. And see, I should have left my that trade alone because it's above 50 out of the launch pad. But as I said, trading during the video, could have left it alone. But I don't really like to have open trades unless for some strange reason I can't avoid it. So notice back across that open here. So gave you an opportunity to trade that. Green rats, red rats feasted, green rats feasted. A range of 163. And of course, this is a return bar. So price just might want to return to that 122.71, 72 area from here. Just have to wait and see what happens. And of course now I'm kicking myself because I just pretty much left about, or watch them bring out another pot of shrimp, about 15 shrimp or so in the pot. And the reason I don't say left it on the table because it wasn't there for me to take. It's when I left the table, then they brought out more shrimp or more pips. But we started calling it bringing out more shrimp. If you've ever been to a buffet line, you know what I mean. Okay, the pivot. Near the pivot, it said to go long. This past H4, prove them correct. And the other thing is, I'm kind of kicking myself for not staying in this trade, was I waited for the H4 to go red and then come back and pick it up for it to go green. And just sitting in that trade would have been worth a boatload of pips. And the open was at 84, so that's 16 plus 59. And why we make trading hard on ourselves, I really don't know. I think it's got so much more to do with what's inside us, and we've been talking about the outside versus the inside, because what'll happen is you'll be up so many pips and you remember the pain of loss, and so you're up 5 and now you're only up 3. It's like, oh, I don't want to lose, so you punch out, and then it does something like this. Or in my case, I was up I think 7 pips or 8 pips, and then it came back down. I go, I'll be happy with 7. Of course, only to see it do what it normally does, run from the 40 to the 60. You can go back and hear me talk about this over and over again. And in fact, I am really strongly considering only trading launchpad trades in one account just to see how profitable that can be. And it's the type of thing where I won't really be looking for pips per se, but looking to trade, or I can maybe make that 1 or 2% per day on the account, be happy, and no fuss, no muss, maybe 1 or 2 trades. And there's no reason you can't do it. I mean, right there, from the 40s to the 60s, you can just look at these charts. It almost happens every single day. But price near the pivot bias is long, so there was a trigger right there, and the pivot was almost at the double low that's sitting at 21.99. So once again, there are pips to be had. We took out that pivot, as we just said, and the weekly we've taken out. And this is a new month, and so we've got a pivot down here at 1784 that hasn't been taken out. So the March, April, and May pivots, let's see what we got. March, April, May haven't been taken out, and now the December is missed. So we'll have to see if one of these gets taken out this month, or possibly both. And we're back into the upper wick zone, which what I was talking about with this trade that I think it would, we say 71.72 when we had that big drop. Well, if you would have just traded out of the wick zone at 46, and we had a low here of 21.33, so if my calculations in my head are right, I believe that's 113 pips, just on possibility. And so now you can see where price is moving steadily up. Walmart at the 2200 paid off. Here Walmart at the 2290 paid off. I mean, these are just huge trades. And looking at the smart range, let's see if we put this back to the daily, you can see we're at the 50 percentile on today's range. We didn't break out of the high, and we haven't broken out of the low, so we got an inside bar setting up today. And that M1 lowest high was sitting here at 22.19. Taking that break would have paid off. Your stop loss would have never been threatened. Which, when that happens, that's always nice. And we've looked at the range by month just a couple of days ago. And so now for December, we're sitting at 268. And let's just take a quick look here and see what the ATR is for December. It's 614. So looking at that ATR 14 for December, it shows that we have some more room to move, which may or may not take out one of those pivots. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a profitable week. I hope you have a profitable December, and I'm going to wish you a fun and safe weekend. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching the video, give me a like, and maybe YouTube will move me up in the algorithm, and more traders will find out about what I'm doing here. But always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, It's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One. Over and out.